Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to be creating a scrapbook layout for you today featuring the Silver Bells collection. And as you can see, it does have a very beautiful wintry Christmas look to it. And I'll show you the sticker sheet in just a moment, but I have a couple photos. This is my youngest son, Clayton, looking very handsome, and we are at his Christmas dance last year. So I got to dress up and chaperone, and this one here we are dancing, and we are dancing the waltz. Now this was taken a screenshot from a video, so it's blurry, but I'm okay with that because documenting the memory is the most important part, even if the photos aren't perfect. Now, many of you I had a little poll over in my Facebook group, which collection was your favorite? And a lot of people are responding that this paper would be great for a December wedding. And I agree it would. This can be very, very formal, but it's kind of funny because if you look in the catalog, they have a layout here featuring this collection where it is, farm photos, and it totally works. So I think that this palette or paper pack can go a lot of different ways. I am going to be bringing in some green. I think that's my plan. This is rosemary, and I think this is going to coordinate beautifully with this paper collection because we've got a lot of the greens in here. So I think that I'm going to bring that one in, and maybe even a pop of red. We'll see. This is the coordinating sticker sheet, and I love all the gold foiling and silver foiling. So you could go either way, or you can of course mix and match. Because of the gold or the warm lights on the tree, I think I'm going to go with the gold foiling. I think it's going to look really beautiful with this set of photos here. So let me clear these out of the way, and we can grab the VersaMat and get started. I showed you two photos, but this is actually going to be a double page layout. White Daisy is a coordinating color for this paper pack, so I'm going to build my layout on White Daisy. I already have a couple glue dots on opposing corners to hold these into place. Now these two photos are my favorites, so I want to put these on this side of the layout, and I'm thinking about overlapping them. This one, it's just a chair with somebody's jacket. I mean, it's not really drawing too much attention, but sometimes it's fun to overlap photos like this. And then I have some supporting photos here. So this is another dancing shot. There's Clayton dancing with one of his classmates there. And I love the chandelier in the photo, and then all of the twinkle lights. And then we have a couple of the table setting. I thought it was so beautiful. So there is the table, and then I snapped a picture of his actual place setting there, and I think that these will look really nice. And this is going to help bring the greens in to this side because we have some greenery in the trees and now in the table. And I'm thinking maybe something like this here. I'll probably position this one at the same height, so that kind of carries that over, and then these two like so. I know I want to use these two, and when you have a busier pattern like this, I tend to maybe use it in a smaller section. So I'm thinking on the bottom, and then having this one here with the little strands of lights behind the actual photos. I think that the photos will pop more on the smaller pattern. So I'm thinking something possibly like this. We'll have this across the bottom. And it's really, when you're creating a double page layout, it is very, it's an easy design concept to just kind of carry that through to the other side. So if I have a border here, I'm just going to carry it on across. I also want to introduce some of the patterns with the toffee color. So I could just maybe accent, maybe matte some of the photos on that, or maybe even just kind of sneak a little bit behind, just a little bit sneaking out, and then bring it into the embellishment clusters. So let's start. I'm going to start by cutting down these two main patterns here. I cut this pattern paper down into 4 by 12 inch strips, and you do have, words going horizontal and vertically, but the bells, you want to make sure they're right side up. I don't know, guys, the last time I talked about orienting something correctly on your layout, I still messed it up. So just make sure before we glue it down, the bells are facing the right direction. Now for this pattern, I actually cut this at 7 inches, and you'll notice I left the zip strip on the top there. So I thought, you know what, rather than cut that off, let's just kind of incorporate that into the design. Now I'm not sure where, you know, I want to cut this widthwise yet. So I'd like to just kind of, you know, wait on that, and I can trim it down as the design develops. So we'll just kind of place this here. And then there's these zip strips off of another pattern paper that I'm going to use to cover the, or separate the transition between these two papers. And this one will bring in that toffee color. So like I said, I might layer some of the toffee back here, and I may have this one come in a bit. So we'll let that develop. Just for fun, let's bring this. Now this is way more than I need. I can always trim this down. Let's just bring this in here for now and see how that looks. And I like the stripe side. So we have kind of a fine pattern here and then a little bit bolder pattern. I like to mix and match the sizes of the patterns. So now we can bring our photos in. I want to make sure that I have enough room on this paper for my photos here and some embellishments, because I think the embellishments will show up better on this paper. So we can bring this one over here and then these two back in right here. Because I have this pattern over here, I want to draw that across, and this one here is a 3x4 and another 3x4. So what I did is I cut this to 4 inches wide so that it would be along the same lines as this photo here. And then enough of that shows behind the picture to where it, you know, definitely makes a statement and balances that from the other side. I went ahead and decided to just go with it. So I cut those papers down to 11 inches by 7. So we have a 1 inch margin around the edge and the top. And then this one I cut at I have 1.5. So that left room for this stripe paper. And then I went ahead and edged everything in black. I don't know if you can see that, probably not, but I just added a tiny little black around the edge of all my paper layers and photos. So if you caught my catalog walkthrough, I shared some cards that I created with the Silver Bells card making workshop. And I knew at once this was a must-have item for me because of the thin cuts in here. It has this gorgeous little thin cut ornament, and there's the bell, but you can see, and the bow there too, and an ornament topper if you want to layer it. But you can see how pretty those are. Just, you know, quick pass through your die cutting machine and you have this gorgeous embellishment. So I went ahead and cut more of those because using this idea on the card, I thought how pretty would that be to have some ornaments hanging down on the side there. So using that die, I cut out 3, and this is a gold foil paper from Ranger. So I'll have that listed in the description box below, of course, with everything else I used. But I thought, oh, how pretty hanging on the side here. And then I cut the 3rd one because I always like to kind of carry those embellishments over to the opposite side. So we need something for our ornaments to hang from. And on my card, I have them just hanging from the top of the card. I drew a string there with a gold pen, but there's this gorgeous sticker from this sticker sheet, this little bow with the holly leaves and the berries, and I thought that might look really pretty as, you know, and then we can draw strings hanging our ornaments coming from this swag. I mentioned earlier I wanted to bring green into this layout, so I used the rosemary paper to cut the bows, and then I cut a bunch of sprigs, and I thought that that would look pretty layered into this little swag up here just to add some color, and we can just kind of tuck those in. And these are from the Evergreen card making workshop. So their card making stamp sets really just, they knocked it out of the park, this catalog. They are absolutely gorgeous. So it'll look something like that, I'm thinking. This is that Evergreen card making workshop. It has the sprig there and then this layering pine cone die. So that's what I mean. Just the dies in these, they're just really awesome, and things that I know I'll use over and over and over again. Oh, look, a random sticker. I actually want to include this into the layout because it's got that gorgeous gold foiling. So I wanted to just make this swag over here really big and just kind of a big statement piece. So more gold, let's bring that in. Just for fun, I cut a couple photo mats. Sometimes I like to mat not all of the photos, but give like a double mat to some feature photos, just so it really draws your eye to those pictures. So we'll do maybe one over there and then this one over here and see how that looks. Just tuck that underneath that sticker there. You know, I think I like it. Let's go ahead and adhere those down to the photo mats and get these tacked down into place. Do you know how happy it makes me that my son loves to dance? I love it. I love it. It just really was such a fun night, and I'm so grateful that he didn't mind me being there and he was willing to share some dances with me. And then, of course, it was so fun watching him try out all of his new moves with his classmates, swirling them and flipping them around, and it was just fun. Clayton has taught me a few of the moves with the flips, but I'm not very graceful, so I think I'll stick to practicing in my living room for now. I'm thinking of my title right here. I've got this option, best time of year, and this is from the sticker sheet, and I do like that it has the gold foiling on the word best. So I could use that, but I also have the Silver Bell scrapbooking stamp with a bunch of titles on here, and I was excited about this one because I thought these are all great. I can use these over and over and over again for layouts and in my December daily. So what I did is I was playing around and just trying different color combos. So this is charcoal on white daisy, and then I even stamped out a gold heat embossed it with gold embossing powder onto black cardstock, and they all look really pretty. So you could go something like that with the black and gold, or there's the white. And then what I like about having the coordinating die cuts is you can just die cut a bunch from scraps of paper and stack them up to add some thickness, because these intricate pieces can be difficult to get, foam tape onto the back. So this is a great way to do that, a great way to use up scraps. But you know what I think, regardless of what title I use, I think that it's a little bit lost. So we need to add something to this area. The die cut pieces that come with this collection, you'll notice there's a lot of these little banner tail shapes in here. There's all different sizes and different patterns. So I popped out some of those, and then I also cut some from coordinating cardstock colors. And I want to bring more of the green in, so let's try that one first. But if we layer up some cardstock, it'll be a little visual break against the pattern paper and hopefully make this title stand out a little bit more. So let's slide that one under there and try this out. And that's already looking better. So you just needed something with the title. Let me find some smaller pieces. These are those different patterns that I popped out of the coordinating die cuts that come with the workshop. Let me just I'm going to scoot this actually underneath this piece here, and I think that'll have a little bit smoother transition if they're all coming from behind that toffee colored zip strip there. Let's carry this design element over to the right-hand side of the page. We've got this space below this photo, so I'm actually going to cut this one off. Now that is the toffee paper. I think we'll go with the darker side showing up there, and then we can bring in some of those pattern paper bits from the die cuts, and then maybe even this toffee one. Possibly, you know what? I've got this piece of pattern paper, or this scrap of paper left over here. I'm going to maybe try that one. Too many stripes. Let's try the other side. It's a little bit smaller, more delicate of a pattern, but it's still bringing in that same color scheme. So we'll go ahead and dovetail this one just to match all of the other pieces there. Let me get that out of the way. And then I can layer these underneath this photo here. And I like to vary the heights, so some will be extended further than the other one here. I even did a gold emboss on charcoal cardstock just to see what that looked like. And I think I just like the brighter white best. I have a few more pieces I want to incorporate. Believe in Magic is from the sticker sheet, and then I also have this little bit from the coordinating die cuts that come with the workshop. It says Cherish, so I wanted something over the photo here, so that does work. But you know what? This fits the space better, so let's do that over there, and then maybe this one can go over here. We can bump that up. And after all of that stamping and heat embossing, I am going to use the sticker option from the sticker sheet for my title, The Best Time of Year. And I'm totally okay with that because all of those A December to Remember titles, I'm going to tuck those into the envelope and they will come in handy. I remembered in the Evergreen collection, there was this circle here and with the music notes, and I thought how perfect for dancing. And plus we have all of these circles on the layout, so it just kind of carries that over. So let's see how this little guy looks up here, kind of tucked in. And then there's this gold foiled sticker that says December Traditions. And I thought that that would make a nice little bit up there. I have more stickers from the sticker sheet I want to bring in. This is a very pretty little ornament with gold foiling, so we'll place this one right here. And then I've got more sprigs and bits and pieces to create with, so I'll tuck in some of those greenery sprigs from the Evergreen die set there, and we'll just have those coming out the side. And then I also have paperboard shapes. I've got pine cones, and these are all from the Evergreen, or the pine cone and the sprigs are. There's die cuts and these little leaves. That might be pretty, but I also have these little white ones. Again, those are from the Evergreen die cuts. Let me try. It's not showing up against that white little banner towel. That does look pretty. I like that. Maybe we can use this little bit over here. We'll save it for later. Now, I want to add a little interest to these solid pieces of cardstock, so I'm just sanding it to bring out that white core. Just gives a little something extra there. And then on these little pattern paper pieces, I'll just ink up the edges there. I've had this little black ink cube in my stash for a while, and I thought, you know what, I might as well put it to good use. I do want to use my paint pen here. This is a gold paint pen from Spectrum Noir. This is the fine tip. So it is a paint marker, so you want to shake it really well. And let me get this little ornament adhered down. And then I'm going to use that paint pen to draw the strings hanging my ornaments. So I'm going to turn this around because it's much easier to drag your arm towards you and keep a straight line. I want to make sure that that color is flowing. So I just tested that out on a piece of scratch paper, and then I'm going to pull that towards me. And then we'll do one from this little ornament here. And just again, pull, don't move your wrist, just keep your wrist straight and pull your elbow towards your body. That looks pretty good. It's probably not showing up very well on camera, but you can definitely see it here in person. So I'm going to do the same thing for these little ornaments here. And that is paint, so it does take a little, a little bit to dry. So you want to not smudge it for a minute or so. Now I can go ahead and add the little bows to the ornaments. I'm going to use micro glue dots to do that. And I'll just put one in the center and it'll stick to that gold foil paper very nicely. Some of you may have noticed the toffee and white stripe paper is going two different directions, and technically it could work. They're kind of both leading from the outside corner down into the center of the layout, but after I finished filming, I did go ahead and orient that so they're going the same diagonal direction. Now I want to bring more of this little music note paper in here. I was hoping to use that scrap, but it was too skinny, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a dovetail in this one to make it match the rest of the pieces. I wanted to introduce that, in one more place on the layout since I had it in the circle on the left-hand side. This will just be a little pop of that in one more place. I thought it worked perfectly, even though it's from the Evergreen collection, it coordinates beautifully. So I also have these little journaling strips from the bonus die cuts, and they have a nice charcoal outline around the edge. So I'll be able to record the details. So I'll tuck those in right there. And then I also added some of these Silver Bells coordinating dots. They're very pretty. They're glittery and they're in coordinating colors. So I added those. And you can see I changed those white sprigs out to green because I wanted some more of the green underneath that photo there. And let me hold this up. Aren't those those little dovetail pattern papers made such a big difference to the title? You can find all of the supplies listed in the description box below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and found the ideas helpful, I'd love it if you'd hit that thumbs up button. If you're looking for more Christmas inspiration, then go ahead and watch these videos right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you very soon here on YouTube. Bye.